Today's video is going to be all about the numbers. These numbers here are part of an experiment. I wanted to see how much this green firewood could dry over a given amount of time. And I've got some answers for that to share. My next set of numbers are 036, as in steel 036 Pro. I just recently repaired this saw and I'm ready to see if it's going to hold up for me in the long run. So I'm going to take it over to my in-laws and try to cut up a load of what I think could be some of the best firewood I've ever burned in my outdoor wood boiler. And finally, I've got a new experiment on something I have never done before. Hopefully the numbers for that turn out in my favor, but it's going to be interesting to see. So all of that is coming up in 3, 2,
Dig Dry DIY.
I've never really checked moisture before, so I went on Amazon and I bought this cheap little moisture tester, and I was going through and experimenting where it gives me different readings. Obviously in the ends it's the driest, and in the center of the log on the split side is the wettest. So I have written down some measurements that I took today, August 13th, and we're gonna see what those look like 8-9 months from now when it comes time to burn this back firewood. So at the end of January, I started to run low on my stacked firewood here, and I was getting down to this last bit with the numbered pieces, and I didn't want to burn them yet because I was just short of 6 months of drying time at the end of January. But fortunately there was a little bit of wood over at my in-laws that I could probably cut up to get us by for a few weeks, maybe even a month. So I decided to head over there and get that rather than burn up my numbered pieces. So we're here at my in-laws and there's a bunch of dead stuff that's on the ground that I think will be just fine to burn. Should be pretty easy with the mini excavator. This was my first chance to run the 036 Pro since I'd completed my DIY repair of the oil pump and the clutch. So I was anxious to see how it was going to do, and well, it didn't do too bad. All right, so it has been 6 days since we cut this trailer full of wood, and you can see I've used probably a little over half of it. This has been some of the greatest wood I have burnt so far. It is dense, it burns a long time, it seems to be dry enough, although I haven't put a moisture meter on it yet, but that's what I want to do right now. So here we are, back to present day. It's been almost a month since I cut all that wood over at my in-laws, and I'm almost through all of that, and I'm ready to start checking some of these numbers. It's been an honest 6 months. I'd like to see what the moisture is on that. I'd like to see what the moisture is on that great firewood that I cut over there from that standing dead tree that's probably been dead for 15 years or more. And then, I don't know, we'll see what I can come up with for some more firewood, hopefully. That's my new experiment. I know this piece right here, this one was 46%, and I marked where I measured it right there on that circle. So that's where I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna check it in the same spot, see what my reading is, and then I'm going to split some of these pieces to see what the moisture is on the inside versus what I've got written on the end. We'll put her in the same spot. Wow, 18%. Let's split it open and see what it looks like on the inside. Well, first of all, I'll measure it everywhere. Right on the end grain, 16.8, 18. I should have explained that this is stuff that was green as well. We cut down a big white oak tree in my in-laws, and I brought it straight over here, cut it up, and stacked it. That's when I measured this. So the tree was literally alive last year, then it died. We cut it down in August. I stacked it up right here. And I think in 6 months, this has dried beautifully. Let's do some more random testing. Here's one that was 40%. I got 15.8, 15.7, 18.6 there on the underside. Here's one that was 31, 15. Here's one that was 36, 15.6. So we're getting pretty consistent numbers. Here's one that was 45. Oh, that's 16. I have to show you guys for you to believe me. All right, let's split some of them open and see if I can get any numbers higher than that. Okay, I've been getting made fun of for my splitting efforts quite a bit lately because of a video short I posted cutting with my backhoe. Everybody's been telling me there's some Canadian gal that can split wood way better than I can, so.
Let's see what we can do. Woo! Whew. Might as well finish it. Nice.
I didn't need to build my backhoe splitter, but well, we'll see if I can redeem myself at all here. But nah, I'm no wood splitter. Almost missed. Oh, it smells wet. I can smell it. There's my 46%er. We'll see what it measures on the inside. Okay, 28%. So that is wetter than I thought. But that's still not bad. Go from 46 to 28. What's this? 30%. Pretty wet on the inside. I could tell when I split it by the smell that it was wet. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but it's got a really deep, you know, rich smell to it still, so I can feel a little moisture there. Let's try a few more just to see. Here's one that said it was 23. 26% on the inside. All right, let's see what the moisture is on these. You guys can average it out. Oh, there's a 17, 18%, 15%, 14%, 17, 24, 14, 17, 18, 16, 32 on the inside. That one's still wet. This one was a big one. 15, 20, 25, 17, 15. The non-exposed side, 29. Here's one that said 35 on it. 20%, 25, 15. Said 40. 11% where it was exposed. 17% on this side. Here's the side that I split open. You gotta trust me on that one, I guess. We don't have smell-o-vision. Yeah, 25%. So I have to admit, it's wetter than I thought on the inside. I thought in 6 months it would dry more in the center, but it didn't. It'll burn okay in the stove. I know that because I've already burned some of it, and it burns great as far as that goes. But that oak is so dense, it takes a long time to dry. 6 months is not enough. I guess the numbers don't lie, right? What will be interesting is, though, that stuff that I got from my in-laws just recently, that really good, long burning, turns into coal type wood. I wonder what the moisture is on that. Let's cut one open. Here's a piece of that oak. And like I said, it's been dead a long time. If I put the moisture meter right on the side, it measures 12%. Wow. And if I put it on the end grain, even after I've cut it, it's 16%. So that could be part of the reason why, right? Here's end grain, 16%. Let's split it open and see. And these pieces are so heavy. They are so dense. Holy cow, 14%, 13%. That's the wettest spot I found, 18%. 12. Well, that kind of tells me what I need to know. The numbers for the stuff that I cut 6 months ago show that the outside's dry, but when you split it open, it's still wet in there, but it's burning okay. The stuff that I cut a month ago, the standing dead wood, that stuff burns phenomenally. It's some of the best I've ever burned. It's heavy, it's dense. It's about 17%, 15% on the inside, so there's some proof that the drier wood burns better. I mean, that's obvious. I knew that, right? But it's nice to see it. All right, time for some more wood. All right, I'm about to head out. You know, it has gotten really cold again today. I had to jump the truck, and I'm thankful for this coat. I don't even think I've mentioned this coat yet. This Ororo coat, it's got heat in it. It's got a little battery, it's heated, and when the wind's blowing, it is fantastic. They gave one to me, and they gave one to Kara to try out, and I'll tell you, I've been liking it. So what do you think of your Ororo vest?
I love it. Nice and toasty.
Now you've been wearing it when like the fire goes out, it gets cold in the house.
Or just all the time.
So you like it?
I love it.
It's been great.
Yes.
Mine is too. Okay. I've still got plenty of wood that I could cut up. Some of it's dry, some of it's wet. But when I was out trying to find a sandblaster the other day in Amish country, well, I stumbled across a sawmill that had some blocks that they were selling as firewood. By the way, there's lots of Amish sawmills around where I live. This is one of like 4 that were within 5 or 6 miles of my house. So if this is a good deal, I may be able to rely on this a little bit more in the future as it becomes more difficult for me to make enough wood by myself. So just wanted to get some firewood blocks.
Okay, you don't much water.
Just fill it up as full as you can get it.
Okay.
However much will fit on there. We'll see what it stacks up. They called it 10 yards, but we'll see what it stacks up to look like. Looks like a pretty good load. Ooh, I better get that one. This would have fallen off. A lot of little pieces. All right, we're loaded up. It'll be interesting to see what this looks like stacked up. There's a lot of little blocks in it, but it's all hardwood, supposedly all hardwood. So I don't know. It'll be a fun experiment to see how long it lasts. So it pains me to buy firewood, right? I have never bought firewood before. I technically didn't have to yet, but this is all part of, like I said, a grander experiment. A grander experiment, okay. Every load of wood costs you something, regardless if you get it for free. That's been pointed out to me many times. You have the expense of the fuel and the machines that you use and the chainsaw. And the biggest thing, the biggest expense is your time, right? For me to go out and split and cut and get enough wood to fill this dump truck full would take a couple hours somewhere, and it would probably require help. So that couple hours multiplies as you get more people involved. At the end of the day, you still have, I mean, the volume of wood is a volume of wood, right? A dump truck load and a dump truck load. This actually might even be fuller because it fills in all the little spaces with those little pieces. So a dump truck load cost me $100. That's a nice even number. I'm also going to include my mileage. I have about 45 minutes invested in it. So for 45 minutes and $100, I get a full dump truck load. That's actually a pretty good deal. Now, I want to stack it up to see what kind of volume it is in terms of cords, and then I'll have a better handle on really how much I got and what kind of a deal it was. So, all right, stay tuned for that. Well, it is definitely heavy, but it's probably a lot of water. Good thing I didn't pay by the pound. All right, so here's our current status. This is some of the really good oak that I threw in there, the best firewood I've got. And I threw this in a couple hours ago. Red, it burns slow and long and hot. It's just perfect. Look at how, there's 5 pieces in there, that red oak or whatever it was, I forget. Okay, now let's put those other pieces in there. So here's the smallest piece of the sawmill wood. Here's another piece of the sawmill wood. Put that down there in the corner. Okay. We're gonna see how those do, see how they burn up. All right, we'll check back in the morning. It is just after 8 a.m. the next day. It got pretty windy last night. The temperature is way down, so I would expect almost all that wood to be gone. Yep. There's one of our pieces from the sawmill, laid on top there. The coals from that oak, look at that. It's like coal. There's still a ton of heat in that. There's our little, that's one of our sawmill pieces. It was laying on top of that oak, so this is 9 hours of burn time. I didn't get out here as soon as I could have. It's a little after 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I want to do another experiment. Let's go get a wheelbarrow load of that sawmill wood. Kawamo. All right, this is a pretty good load. Over full wheelbarrow load. All right. Let's see. Just for giggles, we should see how wet this is. Oh, 22% by sticking it in right there. 21%, 25%. What? 50%. That's right in the end grain. That is wet there. 21%, 21%. So this stuff is obviously pretty wet. That's no surprise. They told me it was green wood. I didn't expect it to be dry, but I am interested to see how it's gonna burn. Will this burn better than stuff that I just cut out back and throw on without splitting? I don't know, let's find out. Let's throw a load in there. It's about 8:30 right now, and we'll see how it does. The fire is cold. It's got a lot of really hot coals in the bottom, so throw some of these little ones in the bottom. It'll be interesting to see what it does. So that is an entire wheelbarrow load in there. That wet wood does appear to be catching on fire pretty well. So we'll check back. We'll check back in 4, 5, 6 hours. I don't know. All right, I'm back. It's been about 6 hours since I filled the stove this morning. It's not that cold today. It's getting in the high 40s. Stove temperature is 147. So what that tells me is that wheelbarrow load didn't quite get it up to temperature. I let it get down too low, but yeah, it's all gone. Oh, there's some left in there. It just burnt out the center. It does look combustible. Slow to burn, high moisture content. I'm going to throw that piece in that was 46%. You hear that clunking noise like bowling pins? When it sounds like bowling pins, it's pretty dry. This stuff is going to burn perfectly, even though it's only been drying for 6 months. Now I think that it's time to bring that dump truck load of sawmill wood over here. We'll get it stacked up and see how many cords it equals. I hope I can get some help for that, actually. Girls, what have you been learning about in math for the last couple of weeks?
Customary units of length, mass, and measurement, and the
What's a
metric.
What's the measurement of something? How much it can hold?
We know how we have the volume.
Volume. So the purpose of this, the reason we're stacking it, is because I want to figure out for sure how much volume this was. Because I paid for this wood. They said it was 10 yards, which is a measurement of volume. I want to see how many cords it is and if it really is 10 yards. So we're going to stack it up in an orderly fashion. We're going to stack it up 3 foot wide and 3 foot high and see how long it is. Okay?
Check back in 5 hours.
Okay, so for the next few weeks, I'm going to be burning up that sawmill wood and what I have left of the dry wood. If the sawmill wood doesn't burn well on its own, I'll mix the two together to keep a steady fire going. I don't think it's going to be an issue based on some initial experiments that I've already done. But what are your bets? What do you think? How long is this $100 load of wood going to last me? Do you think it was a smart option? You know, could I use this in the future, or should I just stick to cut my own wood? More than likely, it might be a combination of both. I don't know. I'm just glad there are lots of options. And for the foreseeable future, we're not going to run out of wood. One big stack, 2 wheelbarrows. I took out 1 wheelbarrow this morning. 2 foot wide, 6 foot is right here. 16 foot long. All right, so I'm going to do a little math real quick. I'll edit it so it's fast. 16 times 6 times 2, 192 cubic feet. How many cubic feet are in a cord of wood? 128 cubic feet. That's not good. According to this is 1.5 cords of wood for $100. That's $66 a cord. I don't think it's terrible. There's a lot of small pieces in there that I wouldn't have chosen to have, but next time I wouldn't stack this either. We'll just dump it out or we'll deal with it some other way. But well, we went through a lot of numbers today. Tell me what you think. Is this a good deal on this wood here? Is my wood still too wet to burn, although it's burning really nicely? All I know is I'm glad you clicked on this video. I hope that you liked it, and if I'm lucky, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. That just burnt my eyebrows. I've done that I don't know how many times. I get too close and a blast of warm air, and then I can feel it singe my eyelashes, and it's burnt my eyebrows quite a few times. It happens.